Hi, and welcome back. Today, we are working on our first lesson, which is an introduction to entrepreneurship and business. Our goal for today's lesson is to help you become familiar with terms and terminology used today in business, and so that you can understand business a little better as you see it in your environment. So let's get started. What is entrepreneurship? So entrepreneurship is the process of starting and running a venture with a goal of making a profit. That's right, a profit. It's what we're going to work for. But entrepreneurs do something a little more important than just make a profit. What we do as entrepreneurs is we are solving problems in the marketplace by creating products and services to meet the needs of people or animals or the planet or space. It doesn't matter what area an entrepreneur works in, but all entrepreneurs and businesses help solve a need. And I think it's important to establish that early on, because you'll need to be thinking about that as you're creating your own business models. And so what need will you be servicing? What need will you be covering? So something to just keep in mind throughout all of the lessons. So successful entrepreneurs have qualities like innovation, creativity, hard work, and adaptability. But it takes more than that to be an entrepreneur. So let's talk through the characteristics of what an entrepreneur is. So you need passion and persistence. Successful entrepreneurs need passion and persistence because sometimes the idea isn't well ironed out, and if you don't have the passion behind what you're trying to do, it's going to be really hard to stick to it. So you need both. Creativity and innovation. Successful entrepreneurs are creative and innovative because you have to look at a new way of doing things. So anytime you're thinking about what is my ideal customer, what problem am I solving, it's going to require creativity and innovation for you to get to that space to work through those problems. Being adaptable and flexible is a key part of being an entrepreneur. It would be very challenging to enter a terrain that you're unfamiliar with without having a mindset that you're here to learn. And so being an entrepreneur throughout the life cycle, and it doesn't matter if you're just starting out or if you're a senior entrepreneur, adaptability and flexibility will be a core part of who you are throughout your career journey. A strong work ethic. This is a must. If you do not have a strong work ethic as an entrepreneur, it's going to be tough. A lot of times entrepreneurs wear many hats. In some situations and instances, entrepreneurs are responsible, especially in the startup stages, for all parts of the business, which require you to stretch, which means that you might have to stay up and learn a new programming language. It means that you might have to do some extra work where typically in a traditional business, you would see employees in various roles doing that work. But sometimes when you're starting out, you don't have those employees and you are all of those employees. So strong work ethic is a must. Financial savvy. While most successful entrepreneurs are financially savvy, a lot of successful entrepreneurs understand the importance of financial management. And I want to talk about financial management versus, you trying to be a CPA or an accountant. Having good financial management means having the acumen to work with people who are in those professions to help you be financially stable. And so we will talk through a lot of that throughout our courses when we get to the financial component, but financial savvy is a must. It's a big reason why very many businesses fail. And in my experience, I've seen it where people say, well, I'm just not good at math, and so you have to not always just necessarily go and take a math class to be good at math, but just understanding the importance of financial management and the key things you need to know to run your business in financial management are essential to being successful in business. leadership and communication skills is last but not least, and probably the most important skill you're going to have to be a successful entrepreneur. Whether you're pitching your idea to a venture capital firm, to a bank, or simply want consumers to purchase your product, leadership and communication skills are a must. So if you haven't had a chance to get out and start talking to some people, you will get a chance to do that throughout this 10 weeks, okay? So let's go into the types of entrepreneurship. And this always, this is, over the years, this has evolved. And you're going to have an exercise at the end of this lesson. But I just kind of want to talk through some different types of entrepreneurship. So we have small business entrepreneurship. So this is operating a small business, typically a local or regional focus. So small business entrepreneurs typically are not selling items online. If they are, they're using things like Nextdoor, maybe a local landscape company, maybe a local mom and pop store. So that's typically a small business entrepreneur, is someone who has a local focus. So meaning if you get out of the area, they're not in those different areas. Scalable startup. This scalable startup is a startup company that has the potential to rapidly grow or potentially scale. So I'll give you some examples, and I'm not saying you shouldn't use my examples. You should find something else other than my example. But scalable startup would be something like Uber, right? Uber started out, and we'll go through a lot of different case studies, but Uber was one of those that started out as a small startup, and look at Uber now. So easily scalable. We look at their business model to rapidly grow, because, you know, in the infrastructure, again, we'll talk through more case studies when we go through individual case studies. But for the sake of what we're doing, we're just going to go through the definition. So social entrepreneurships, creating and running a business that is focused on making a positive social or environmental impact in addition to generating profits. So this could be, you know, clean water projects. You know, I've seen a ton of projects where people will start wooden spoons, you know, just a variety of items and services, from products and services that people are able to sell that also fit a need, but also help our environment. And they have a social cause to help out humanity. Online entrepreneurship. So online entrepreneurship involves running a business online, like an e-commerce or digital marketing agency or an online education platform, similar to, you know, what I'm doing. Well, I'm not strictly online, but maybe one day I will be strictly online. But a lot of courses that are online are an example of this. You can also, there are clothing brands, there are, you know, Shopify. The easiest thing I've seen is, you know, especially with this age group, is clothing brands started up by young entrepreneurs that strictly sell online, using a variety of forms for product and material to drop shipping. So, and then we have franchise entrepreneurship, which involves buying and operating a franchise business, which is a franchise business is a business that already has the infrastructure. So 7-Eleven is a franchise. So no, you can't use that in your responses because it's the easiest one. But 7-Eleven is a franchise entrepreneurship. And at 7-Eleven, they sell you the business model along with the products and services that can be bought at the store. You know, there are many benefits and there are many advantages and disadvantages to each one of these types. I think the most important thing is to just become familiar with them. And then as you are thinking about what you're going to be doing in your business model, you'll start to see how you fit into this type of entrepreneurship, or which entrepreneurship you fit into. And then there's intrapreneurship, which is the type of entrepreneurship that involves creating and developing new products and services or business models within an existing company or an organization. So some of you might be innovative and creative, and then this becomes an opportunity, and you could do so a variety of ways by creating new products and services within an existing company. Many big, great companies where you utilize this type of a model. And if you want to have the rights to a new product or service, it's the easiest way to get started. Exercise time. So you're going to pause the video here. And what you're going to do is identify the 6 types of entrepreneurship in your world. The full exercise is at the end of the lesson. So for right now, you're going to take a few moments, look around your space, and write down the brands you use in your immediate environment. You will then research these brands after you listen through the lesson and complete the assignment at the end. So take a look around your room. What are you wearing? What is the clothing you're wearing? Is it big name brand? Is it smaller name brand? Where do you get your milk from? Where do you get cheese from? What kind of car do you drive? What kind of car do your parents drive? What kind of clothing do you wear? What's the brand of the clothing your parents wear? Where do you go get a haircut? Where do you go to events? What do you do for fun? So everything that we typically are doing that involves us getting out or taking care of ourselves typically has to do with the business, and this exercise should stretch you to do that. So again, take a few moments and just write down the names of the brands that you see in your immediate environment, and at the end of the lesson, you will complete the exercise. So let's go through the rest of entrepreneurship and what business is. So business involves business planning. Business planning is the process of creating a roadmap for your business venture. It involves identifying goals, outlining strategies to achieving these goals, and developing a plan for managing resources and operation. A well-written plan can help any entrepreneur make informed decisions, secure funding, and stay on track as they work to grow their business. Similar to if you were, for example, playing a sport and you're just getting started in this sport and you have an interest in the sport. So then you might say, okay, I would like to become better at basketball. So I'm going to write a plan about how I am going to be better at basketball. That might include exercising 2 days a week. It might include some drills. It might include a variety of drills because you decided you wanted to be a pro ball player, which is going to take a lot of commitment and a lot of work. So in that same sense, and just in the same sense that you would plan any other part of your life out, business planning is much the same way. And it's a crucial part of your success in business because when it comes to business planning, without a good plan, it's hard to remember what needs to happen, how we originally planned to make it happen, because our memories just aren't that great. And without a plan, it's so easy to get derailed and get off track in where you're supposed to be going, right? So this is why we work on that throughout the next 10 weeks. You'll be building your own business plan and seeing how effective you are at that. So another crucial component of business is funding, right? You need money. We all need money. We need money to survive. We need money to live. We need money to do things, and everybody enjoys money. And while money is not the only reason we do something, we need it for survival, and hopefully through a solid business plan and a good foundation, you can make money by helping others with your gift, whatever that gift is, whatever need you're solving, whatever problem you're resolving for humankind. That's the whole purpose. So sources of funding, there's a ton of them. There's a ton of them, but none of them, that's just what we end up learning, especially if you're a startup entrepreneur. You have personal savings. So if you don't have personal savings, get out there, start working, making good grades, ask. and start saving money. Loans from family or friends, bank loans or lines of credit, which are typically really hard to get a startup. SBA loans, also hard to get sometimes and lengthy. Venture capital, angel investors, crowdfunding, Kickstarters, GoFundMe. Grants from government and nonprofit organization, those of you with a social cause, business incubators or accelerators, corporate partnerships or sponsorships, and IPOs. So again, each of these are different and require a different level of experience, also require a plan, which is what you'll be working on. But most importantly, we'll go through each of them, and depending on your business structure, we'll find which is the most appropriate for you and how to get you the funding that you need to get your business off the ground. So in addition to business planning and sources of funding, one of the key components of business is marketing. So there's a lot of information on marketing and a lot of agencies that do marketing. In this course, we will write a marketing plan for your business plan. You will write a marketing plan for your business plan, because marketing strategies used by businesses to promote their products and services vary based on the target consumer, understanding their needs and preferences, and developing tactics to reach the audience and so that you can engage them. So for example, a local landscaping company might use something like Nextdoor because they do not necessarily have an interest in doing national ads on, say, a game or something like that. So Nextdoor might be a more appropriate strategy because that reaches their immediate consumer at a low cost. That's just an example. But in the next 10 weeks, you're going to go through at least one of the segments where you will fill out a marketing strategy for your business and for the services that you're offering. But just know that effective marketing strategies can help businesses increase your brand awareness, generate leads, and ultimately drive sales. Yes, all good things. Marketing is great, but if without proper marketing, people won't know who you are, and over marketing without understanding your capabilities won't allow you to meet your market demand. So there's a fine line in marketing, and we will go through all of it, but it is going to be necessary that you become good at it. And last but not least, I want to talk to you about the importance of community and networking. There's just no way to be a business owner without communication, without getting out, without talking to people. It is the core part of what an entrepreneur is. And I know that for some people, this is not necessarily your strong suit where you can go out and you can just talk to random people, but you will have to stretch yourself in that space, because when it comes to presenting your idea, you have to be the person presenting it. That's just how it works. I remember when I first started my business and I didn't want to be in any of the pictures, like for my website, because I was just like, I don't want to be in the front. I just want to do my work. And I don't necessarily care to be, can somebody else show up for me? And then, and then I realized that somebody else isn't going to represent my brand and what I'm trying to do in terms of my teaching style, in terms of the content that I want to deliver, the examples that I have to give. So it was important that I came out of my shell and talk to people so that I can relay what I want to relay to my demographic of people and people who meet me. And so you will too have to work on that. And if you're already a part of our Facebook group, that's one place to start. But it's also important to network in your social circles, whether it's that you're on a team, whether it's that you belong to a community organization, or you participate in a festival. Getting out and communicating with people. Now, getting out and being on your phone the entire time is not the same thing, okay? So I'm talking about intentional networking, talking to people, getting to know them, because in this journey and in your business journey, it's an essential part of who you are, what you will do, and we'll offer some ways to do that throughout the course, but I encourage you to start this sooner than later. So next, I know, all this fun, right? So over the next 10 weeks, we'll dive deeper into the topics that you've seen in this presentation. You will explore many of these topics in detail. And by the end of the course, you'll have a better understanding what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur and have built your very own business model. I know, I was trying to get that out. So thank you for joining me today. And I look forward to going on this journey with you and learning about you and your business. And most importantly, I'm looking forward to all that you will learn here and what you will create. So you'll take a little exercise next, and then I'll see you in the next lessons, okay? All right, good luck. See you soon.